Hey, what's up, guys? Today, I'll show you a mystery thriller film, The Prestige. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with an old man talking about the three parts of a magic trick to a young girl. He explains that the first part is called the pledge, in which the magician shows the audience something ordinary. Then the second part is called the turn, in which the magician takes the ordinary something and transforms it into something extraordinary. While the old man explains all this, the scene shifts to another man named Borden, trying to figure out the magic trick performed by a magician named Anyer. We see Borden go backstage to figure out what Anyer's trick is, and see him walk right below the stage. Borden walks towards a glass tank filled with water, and to his shock, Anyer suddenly drops into the water and gets trapped inside. Then Borden witnesses Anyer drown to his death. In the next scene, we get to see the old man standing in a court testifying for Anyer's death. Now we get to know that the old man was working for Anyer. The next day, Borden is visited by a local solicitor, asking Borden to sell out his trick called the Transported Man to a wealthy man named Caldlow. It's revealed that Borden is also a magician. Borden refuses to sell his most famous trick, and the solicitor threatens him that he will take away his daughter. Before leaving, the solicitor gives him a visiting card and a diary saying that Caldlow gave it to him. Borden takes the visiting card and the diary and goes to his cell. In the next scene, Borden starts reading the diary and realizes that it was Anyer's. Borden reads of Anyer's travels to Colorado Springs in search of a scientist named Tesla. Anyer arrives at the town's hotel and books himself a room. After some time, he hires a local Ferrari rider and travels up the hill to meet the scientist. The Ferrari rider stops midway and tells Anyer that he has to walk on his own from here. Anyer gets off the Ferrari and walks uphill. He sees the fence to Tesla's house and goes towards it. Anyer gets electrocuted after touching the fence, and Tesla's assistant comes out holding out a rifle. The assistant recognizes Anyer just by looking at him and asks him why he has traveled all the way here. Anyer tells him that he has come looking for the scientist Tesla and that he needs a machine built by him. Tesla's assistant politely tells Anyer to go away and that Tesla wouldn't help. Anyer leaves the place, saying that he will be staying in the town as long as it takes. Anyer goes back to his hotel room and starts reading another diary. Then he remembers the past days when he and Borden were still friends. The two men are seen sitting in a theater with a magician named Fatty performing a magic show. Fatty calls out two people from the crowd to come upstage and tie up his lovely assistant. Then the assistant picks Anyer and Borden. The two men rush upstage and begin tying the lovely assistant. Then she is picked up by a crane and dropped into a glass tank with huge curtains covering the tank. The old man from the beginning of the movie is seen guarding behind the curtains, holding an axe in case of an emergency. The curtains open up, revealing the lovely assistant standing outside the glass tank. After the show, it's revealed that Anyer and Borden are also a part of the trick, and the lovely assistant is Anyer's wife. They all talk to each other about how they can make the knot different and tighter, but the old man intervenes and tells them to follow the usual knot to make it easier for the lovely assistant to escape the glass tank. Before leaving, the old man tells Anyer and Borden to go watch a Chinese magician and find out how he performs the fishbowl trick. Later that evening, Anyer and Borden go watch the Chinese man magically bring a fishbowl out of nowhere. After the show, Borden tells Anyer that the old man had done a lot of self-sacrifice by pretending to be a lame person all the time, even in his after-show time, so as to cover his trick. Later that night, Anyer tries to imitate the fishbowl trick, but fails. The next day, Borden is working on his other job as an assistant for another magician. There he sees a beautiful young lady with a kid watching the magic show. In the show, the magician makes a small bird disappear, but the young kid starts crying and says that the magician had killed the bird, although he had brought back the bird. After the show, Borden walks up to the kid and shows him the bird alive and well in the cage. This impresses the beautiful young lady, and we get to know that the kid is her nephew. The next day, Borden meets up with them again and performs a coin trick on the young kid. A few days go by, and the relationship grows between them. Now the scene shifts back to the present day, and we see the old man talking to the judge about Anyer's machine. The judge tells him that a wealthy man named Caldlow had purchased the machine to keep in his inventory. The old man warns the judge that the machine is dangerous and proceeds to show the glass tank in which Anyer had died. The old man proceeds to tell the past story between Anyer and Borden. We see Fatty performing another magic show, and as usual, Anyer's wife calls for the two men and they tie her up. The crane pulls Anyer's wife up, and the old man gets ready holding an axe in case of an emergency. Time goes by, but the curtain doesn't go up. The old man rushes and pulls down the curtain, only to find Anger's wife still trapped underwater. The old man begins breaking the glass, but it's too late. Anger's wife drowns to death before the glass could be broken. Borden looks in shock as Anger's wife lays dead in Anger's arms. Anger grieves his wife's death and even tries to drown himself. Borden comes to Anger's wife's funeral and says sorry to him. Anger asks Borden about the knot he had tied, and Borden says he doesn't remember. Anger gets angry after hearing this and yells at Borden as he walks out. A few months later, Borden is now married to a beautiful young lady. One day she comes home and finds Borden talking to a man called Mr. Fallen. Borden introduces him to his wife and tells her they are going to be working together. After some time, Borden's wife tells him that she's pregnant and Borden feels happy. Then he shows his wife his new trick and she gets scared after finding out his new trick to be a bullet catch. Then Borden insists that she shoots at him and that he would catch the bullet. Borden's wife shoots the gun and Borden catches the bullet. Then he explains the trick to her and calms her down, saying that he's going to be safe. Later that night, Borden is seen in an underground bar, performing a magic trick using metal rings. But the people don't like it and say that it's boring. Then Borden takes out his gun and calls for a volunteer. Borden hands over the gun to the volunteer, and to Borden's shock, the volunteer is Anger. Anger points the gun at Borden and asks him which knot he had tied to Anger's wife. Borden says that he doesn't remember, and Anger shoots Borden's fingers. Anger flees the scene, while Borden yells in pain. A few days later, the old man meets up with Anger and asks to work together with him. Anger agrees to this and even hires a sexy assistant called Big Mountain. A few days go by and Anger gets ready for his disappearing bird trick. During the show, Borden gets back at Anger by sabotaging the act by killing the bird and even injuring a volunteer. This horrifying event makes the theater owner cancel the contract with Anger. Now the scene shifts back to Anger when he was in a hotel and was visited by Tesla's assistant. The two men have a drink and Tesla's assistant takes Anger to show him an experiment. Anger gets surprised after witnessing the experiment and Tesla's assistant leaves the place, saying Tesla will meet him in a few weeks. After a few days, Anger goes to see Tesla's experiment in an open exhibition, where Tesla's experiments get evicted by Edison's men. Then a few weeks later, Tesla has finally agreed to meet up with Anger and invites Anger to his house. Tesla introduces himself by emerging out of the electricity, and Tesla demonstrates another experiment by lighting up a bulb, using their bodies to conduct electricity. Then they eat together, and Tesla asks if Anger wants the machine, telling him that nothing good will come out of an obsession. But Anger ignores Tesla's words and continues to ask for the machine. Borden manages to develop a trick of his own called the Transported Man, in which Borden goes into a wardrobe and instantly comes out of the other. The old man says that Borden uses a double to perform this trick, but Anger doesn't agree with him, saying that this is a complex trick to just perform using a double. Big Mountain also supports Anger's theory by saying that both are the same man. A few days later, Anger hires a drunkard who looks exactly just like him. Anger performs his version of the Transported Man and ends up being a great success. But Anger is not satisfied as the trick ends with him being down in the basement, while the drunkard basks in the audience's applause. After a few more shows, Anger sends his assistant Big Mountain to spy on Borden to learn how he does the Transported Man. Big Mountain was reluctant at first, but later agreed to do it. A few days later, Borden finds out about Anger's Transported Man trick and meets up with the drunkard. Borden manipulates him and uses the drunkard to blackmail Anger. During another Transported Man trick, Borden sabotages the show and cripples Anger in the process. Big Mountain falls in love with Borden after finding out about his hormones, which do magic. She now becomes his assistant and even Borden's new mistress. This infuriates Borden's wife and she expresses it to him. A few days later, Big Mountain meets Anger and gives him Borden's diary, in which he writes down his tricks. Now Big Mountain begins to see that Anger has become even more obsessed with Borden's new trick, that Anger has become more selfish and has forgotten about his late wife. Then one night, Anger manages to kidnap Borden's work partner, Mr. Fallen, with the old man's help, uses him to threaten Borden. Borden then gives Anger a paper with the name Tesla written on it. Anger uses the keyword Tesla to go to America and meet up with the scientist named Tesla. Anger visited Tesla a few weeks after he had agreed to build the machine. Initially, Anger gets angry that the machine is not working, but when he leaves the place, he finds that the machine has worked. But instead of teleporting, it duplicates anything put inside a short distance away. This brings up hope for Anger, and Tesla asks for another few weeks to perfect the machine. But unfortunately, Tesla is chased out of Colorado Springs by Edison's men and his lab is destroyed. But fortunately, Tesla has the machine delivered to Anger in time, and in the note he asks him to destroy the machine, mentioning that it will bring only misery. Borden's wife hangs herself as she can't stand the fact that her husband loves Big Mountain and even finds his personality contradictory. A few days after his wife's death, Borden goes to a restaurant with Big Mountain. There he tells Big Mountain that he had never loved his wife and that he only loves her. Big Mountain gets tired of the complicated man and decides to leave the country. Anger puts up a show using Tesla's machine and successfully appears to be teleported across the theater. Anger puts up a few more shows all around the place and earns a lot of money. Borden gets jealous of Anger's new trick and decides to find out the trick by himself. One night, Borden sneaks backstage and witnesses Anger fall into a tank filled with water just below the stage. Borden witnesses Anger drown to death. The old man discovers Borden in the scene and says that Borden was the one who had killed Anger. Borden is unable to prove his innocence and is sentenced to the death penalty. After the trial, Tesla's machine is sold to a wealthy man named Caldlow, but his true identity is revealed to be Anger, who is still alive. Borden finds out about this shocking truth when Anger visits Borden under the disguise of Caldlow in prison. The old man is the next one to find out that Anger is still alive when he goes to visit Lord Caldlow to tell him about the machine. The old man tells his disgust about how Anger allowed Borden to be sentenced to death. Soon after Borden is hanged for Anger's murder, Anger gets shot in the chest by a stranger who reveals himself to be nobody else but Borden. Then it's further revealed that Borden is an identity shared by two identical twins just to perform the trick of the transported man. One of the twins disguised as Mr. Fallen when one was Borden. The twins had sacrificed their whole life just to perform the transported man trick. They even had to cut off their fingers just to match each other. Now Mr. Fallen has been executed with the twin brother Borden remaining alive. It's also revealed that Anger used the machine to make a new Anger during every show, while the original one drowned in the water tank placed below the stage. In the end, Anger loses blood and dies from the gunshot wound. Borden leaves the scene and picks his daughter from the old man's workshop, while the fire from the lantern spreads across, revealing rows of dead Angers. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.